Have you ever been disrespected so badly that every part of you wanted to strike back? The words burned inside, your heart pounded, and you felt the urge to prove yourself. But what if I told you that your silence is far more powerful than any response you could give? Most people believe that reacting immediately makes them look strong. They think defending themselves will earn respect. But here's the truth. Reacting emotionally gives power to the one who disrespected you. It tells them they have control over your mind. The strongest people in this world do not waste energy fighting battles that do not deserve their attention. They know that silence speaks louder than words. If you've ever felt the sting of disrespect and wondered how to handle it without losing your dignity, this message is for you. Stay with me until the end, and you'll discover the secret to turning silence into your greatest weapon. This one shift in mindset will change how people see you, and more importantly, how you see yourself. Why we feel the need to react. The human brain is wired for survival. When someone disrespects us, our instincts scream for a response. This is because our ego is tied to how others perceive us. We fear looking weak. We think if we don't fight back, we're letting them win. But this is a trap. One that keeps you stuck in a cycle of reaction, frustration, and wasted energy. Disrespect is designed to provoke you. The person who disrespects you wants a reaction. That's their goal. They feed on your frustration. The moment you argue, explain, or defend yourself, you hand them control over your emotions. And once someone controls your emotions, they control you. Think about the most respected people in history. The ones who carried true authority. Did they waste words arguing with fools? No. They let their actions do the talking. Why? Silence is more powerful than words. Here's something most people don't realize. Silence is not weakness. Silence is strategy. When you refuse to react, you do three powerful things. You force the other person to sit with their own words. Without your reaction, they are left alone with their negativity. They don't get the emotional payoff they were looking for. You show confidence and self-control. People who react impulsively seem insecure. But the one who stays quiet, who doesn't flinch, commands the room. They radiate power. You rob them of the power they think they have over you. Nothing frustrates a disrespectful person more than being ignored. Your silence forces them to confront their own actions. The psychology behind non-reaction. There's a psychological reason why staying quiet increases your power. Studies in human behavior show that people respect those who are selective with their words. When you rarely respond to negativity, your words become more valuable. It's called the scarcity effect. People place a higher value on things that are rare. If you're always quick to react, your words lose impact. But when you remain silent, when you choose your moments carefully, your presence carries weight. Have you ever noticed how the most influential people in a room don't rush to speak? They observe, they listen, and when they finally say something, everyone pays attention. That is the power of restraint. The moment you realize you no longer need to react, something shifts inside you. When you stop feeling the need to respond to every insult, every passive-aggressive remark, and every attempt to provoke you, you realize that your energy is too valuable to be wasted on small minds. The moment you stop reacting, people see you differently. They sense your strength. They start to wonder why you don't respond like everyone else. They begin to respect you, not because you fought back, but because you didn't have to. This is why the most powerful response to disrespect is no response at all. And here's the best part. When you master this, you'll watch how life starts to shift in your favor. Disrespectful people will either fall silent or expose themselves for who they really are. Meanwhile, you move through life with dignity, strength, and unshakable peace. Your silence is your strength. So the next time someone disrespects you, ask yourself, do I want to give them power over my emotions, or do I want to walk away with my peace intact? Because the real power is not in the words you speak. It's in the silence that leaves people questioning, wondering, and regretting. And this is just the beginning. In the next section, we will dive deeper into what disrespect reveals about the person who gives it, and why their words say more about them than they ever will about you. Stay with me, because when you master this mindset, nothing and no one will ever shake you again. What disrespect reveals about others. Silence is not just about self-control. It's about seeing the truth behind people's actions. When someone disrespects you, it feels personal. Their words sting. Their attitude shakes your confidence. But here's the truth. Disrespect is never really about you. It's a reflection of them. Think about it. When a person is happy, secure, and at peace with themselves, do they go around tearing others down? No. People who are truly strong don't need to insult, belittle, or humiliate others. They don't need to prove their worth through negativity. So when someone disrespects you, it's a window into their mind. It reveals their insecurity, their inner struggles, their lack of control over their own emotions. It has nothing to do with you. Their words are a mirror showing you their weakness. People who disrespect you are revealing their own pain. Psychologists have studied human behavior for decades, and one thing is clear. People project their own pain onto others. Someone who is deeply insecure will try to make others feel small. Someone who feels powerless will try to dominate conversations. Someone who has been hurt will lash out, trying to hurt others in return. When a person insults you, criticizes you, or treats you unfairly, what they're really saying is, I am unhappy with myself. But instead of fixing their own problems, they take it out on you. This is why you should never take disrespect personally. The moment you understand this, you become untouchable. You stop seeing insults as attacks and start seeing them as signs of the other person's weakness. Weak people use words. Strong people use actions. Look at the people who are the loudest, the ones who always have something negative to say. They talk behind people's backs. They criticize. They gossip. But what do they actually achieve? Now look at the truly powerful people, the ones who carry themselves with grace. They don't waste time on petty drama. They don't let small minds pull them into arguments. They understand that words mean nothing. Only actions matter. A strong person doesn't waste time proving themselves. They don't explain. They don't explain. They don't argue. They let their success speak for itself. So when someone disrespects you, ask yourself, why would I lower myself to their level? Because the moment you engage, you are giving them exactly what they want. Your attention. The trap of emotional reactions, here's something most people don't realize. Disrespectful people don't just want to insult you, they want to control you. They want to see you flustered. They want to see you lose control. They want to see you react emotionally because that reaction tells them that their words had power. But when you remain calm, when you don't even flinch, when you walk away as if their words meant nothing, you take away all their power. There's a reason silence frustrates people who insult you. They wanted to make you feel small, but instead you just showed them that their words are meaningless. And nothing is more painful to a person who seeks validation than being ignored. The ultimate response, indifference. Imagine someone throwing insults at you, expecting you to fight back, but instead of reacting, you just smile. You don't get angry. You don't argue. You don't even acknowledge their negativity. You act as if their words never even reached you. That is the most powerful response you can give. Indifference is a weapon. It makes the other person feel powerless. They realize that no matter what they say, it has no effect on you. And that's when something incredible happens. They stop. People disrespect you because they want attention. They want to pull you into their negativity, but when you give them nothing, they have nowhere to go. You don't have to prove yourself. Most people waste years of their lives trying to prove their worth to the wrong people. They fight battles that don't matter. They argue with those who will never change. They get trapped in endless cycles of reacting, defending, explaining. But the truth is, you don't have to prove yourself to anyone. Not everyone deserves an explanation. Not everyone deserves your energy. There is incredible power in simply walking away. Not because you're weak, but because you are too strong to waste your time. Disrespect is a test, and you decide how to pass it. When someone disrespects you, it's a test of your patience, a test of your confidence, a test of your ability to stay in control. Some people fail this test. They take the bait, they react, they lower themselves. But those who succeed, they stay calm, they stay silent, they rise above, And that's why silence isn't just a response, it's a statement that says your words mean nothing to me. I refuse to lower myself to your level. I choose peace over pointless battles. And when you live by that mindset, something incredible happens. People stop disrespecting you. They see that you're not someone they can shake. They realize that their negativity has no place in your world. That is the power of silence. That is the strength of self-control. And that is the ultimate way to win without even fighting, the power of walking away. Nothing unsettles a person more than realizing they have no control over you. When someone disrespects you, they expect a reaction. They expect you to argue, to fight back, to prove your worth. But the moment you walk away, you break that cycle. You show them that your energy is too valuable for their games. Most people think walking away is a sign of weakness. They believe that staying and fighting for their dignity is the only way to earn respect. But the truth is, your dignity is never found in a battle of words. It's found in your ability to rise above nonsense. When you walk away, you send a message. I am not available for your negativity. You refuse to lower yourself. You refuse to be dragged into someone else's misery. And that refusal, that's power. Why? Walking away is the ultimate strength. Psychology has proven time and time again, people respect those who respect themselves. When you argue with someone who has no intention of listening, you're not proving your strength. You're proving that their words can still control you. Think about this. Have you ever seen a truly confident person waste their energy on small, meaningless fights? No. They don't have time. They know their worth. And because they know their worth, they don't entertain foolishness. Weak people chase validation. They need to be right. They need to win every argument. But strong people, they don't need to convince anyone of their value. They simply live it. So when disrespect comes your way, you have a choice. Do you step into the storm, or do you walk away with your peace intact? Not every battle is worth fighting. There is a dangerous trap that many people fall into, the trap of proving themselves. They spend their whole lives reacting to criticism, explaining themselves, defending their choices. But what do they gain from it? Nothing. Not every battle is worth fighting. Some arguments will drain you. Some people will never understand you. Some fights will steal your energy and leave you with nothing but regret. The wise know this. That's why they don't respond to every insult. They don't waste time on battles that don't matter. They focus their energy where it's valued. When you truly understand this, you stop feeling the need to prove anything. You stop explaining yourself to those who don't deserve an explanation. And that is when you become untouchable. The psychological advantage of silence and distance. There's something fascinating about the human mind. People crave attention. They want to feel important. When they disrespect you, they expect a response. They expect you to fight back. But when you walk away, when you stay silent, when you refuse to engage, you starve them of what they wanted most. You take away their sense of control. You make them wonder. You leave them unsettled. This is where the real psychological power comes in. The one who stays silent controls the conversation. The one who walks away is the one who wins. Because while they waste their breath trying to pull you down, you're already moving forward. And here's the beauty of it. When you stop reacting, you stop being their target. Disrespectful people only attack those who give them energy. The moment they realize they can't shake you, they stop trying. Your peace is priceless. What's more valuable, winning an argument or keeping your peace? Some people spend years stuck in a cycle of reaction. They let anger, frustration, and resentment take over their lives. They fight battles that only leave them drained and exhausted. But wise people, they protect their peace at all costs. They know that not every opinion matters. Not every insult deserves attention. Not every person is worth engaging with. And this is where true power lies, in knowing that you don't have to attend every fight you're invited to. How to master the art of walking away. It takes strength to remain silent. It takes discipline to walk away. But once you master this, you become unshakable. Here's how you do it. Recognize when a conversation is pointless. If someone is speaking only to hurt, to control, or to provoke, nothing you say will change them. Don't waste your words. Stop seeking validation. The need to explain, to defend, to prove your worth, it all comes from insecurity. When you know who you are, you stop looking for approval from the wrong people. Detach from emotions. Anger and frustration are normal, but don't let them control you. The moment you react emotionally, you lose your power. Stay calm, stay in control. Understand that silence speaks volumes. A well-placed silence is often more powerful than 1,000 words. Let people wonder why you're unbothered. Let them see your strength in your stillness. Walk away and focus on your own path. The greatest revenge? Success, peace, happiness. Let them talk while you move forward. Win without fighting. Here's the truth. Some battles are won the moment you refuse to fight. When someone disrespects you, they are testing you. They want to see how much control they have over you. But when you refuse to react, when you walk away, when you continue to live your life without letting their words touch you, that is victory. It's easy to react, it's easy to argue, but real strength is restraint. Real power is in choosing your battles wisely. So the next time someone tries to pull you into their negativity, ask yourself, is this worth my peace? Because nothing, no argument, no insult, no petty drama is worth losing the calm and confidence of a mind that knows its value. The power of self-control in moments of disrespect. Silence is not weakness. Walking away is not surrender. True power comes from the ability to control your emotions when everything inside you wants to react. It's easy to get angry. It's easy to snap back, to prove your point, to defend yourself. But real strength, it's found in restraint. Most people believe that responding to disrespect makes them strong. They think that arguing, proving themselves, or fighting back will earn them respect. But the truth is, you don't gain respect by engaging in battles that don't matter. You gain it by showing that you are above them. A person who can control their reaction in the face of disrespect is a person who cannot be controlled. And that is what frustrates people the most. Why people want you to react disrespect is not just about words. It's about power. When someone insults you, undermines you, or treats you unfairly, their goal is to trigger you. They want to see you lose control, because the moment you react, they win. Think about it. Why do people push your buttons? Why do they say things they know will upset you? It's because they want a reaction. They want to feel powerful by pulling you into their negativity. But when you don't react, when you stay calm, they lose all control over you. Their words become meaningless. Their actions lose their power. And that more than anything frustrates them. The power of emotional intelligence psychology has proven that emotional intelligence is one of the greatest indicators of success. The ability to control your emotions, to remain calm under pressure, and to respond with wisdom instead of impulse. This is what separates the strong from the weak. People who lack self-control live in a constant state of reaction. Every little thing triggers them. Every insult gets a response. Every challenge pulls them into a pointless battle. But those who master their emotions, they don't allow external forces to dictate their internal peace. They choose their battles wisely. They don't let temporary emotions lead to permanent mistakes. Silence is a choice. And it's a powerful one. Most people underestimate the power of silence. They think that staying quiet means they've lost. But in reality, silence is often the loudest response you can give. Silence does three things. It confuses the other person. They were expecting a fight, a reaction, a show of emotions. When you give them nothing, they don't know what to do next. It keeps you in control. The moment you engage, you give your energy away. But when you stay silent, you hold on to your power. It forces the other person to reflect. When there's no reaction, no argument, no fight, they are left alone with their own words. And often, silence makes them question their own actions more than any argument ever could. The art of mastering your emotions. Mastering your emotions doesn't mean you ignore your feelings. It means you choose how to respond. You control your reaction instead of letting your reaction control you. Here's how to master self-control when faced with disrespect. Pause before reacting when someone disrespects you. Take a deep breath. Do not react immediately. The first response is often emotional, and emotions can cloud judgment. Ask yourself, is this worth my energy? Not every battle deserves your attention. Some people are looking for a fight. Don't give them one. Detach from their words. The words of others only have power if you allow them to. Remind yourself, their words are a reflection of them, not of you. Keep your focus on the bigger picture. What do you gain from arguing? What do you lose by walking away? Always choose the path that leads to peace and growth. Let silence do the talking. A person who can walk away without needing to explain themselves is a person who has mastered their own power. How to disarm disrespect without saying a word. You don't always need words to defend yourself. Sometimes the best response is to show that their actions have no effect on you. Here's how you do it. Smile and walk away. A simple smile sends a message. You don't have power over me. Nothing confuses a disrespectful person more than seeing you unaffected. Stay calm and composed. When someone expects you to react with anger, but you remain peaceful, they feel powerless. They realize they cannot shake you. Continue being successful. The best revenge is success. People who try to bring you down secretly hope you fail. Prove them wrong by continuing to thrive. Keep your energy protected. Your energy is sacred. Don't waste it on people who only seek to drain you. Spend your time on things that actually matter. Winning without engaging. There is a saying, never wrestle with a pig. You both get dirty, but the pig enjoys it. Some people enjoy drama. They enjoy arguments. They enjoy making others feel small. But you don't have to play their game. You win the moment you refuse to step into their negativity. People will test you. They will try to provoke you. But every time you stay calm, every time you choose silence, every time you walk away with your peace intact, you prove that you are stronger than they ever imagined, and that is the ultimate victory. The strength of walking away without looking back. There's a power in walking away that most people don't realize. It's not just about removing yourself from a toxic situation. It's about making a statement without saying a single word. It's about showing that your energy, your peace, and your self-worth are not up for debate. Most people struggle with this. They walk away but keep looking back. They distance themselves but still crave closure. They wonder if the other person regrets their actions. They hope for an apology. But true strength is in walking away without needing anything in return. No validation, no explanation, no second thoughts. Because when you truly value yourself, you don't wait for someone to realize your worth. You already know it. Why people struggle to let go. Letting go is one of the hardest things a person can do. Not because they don't want to, but because the human mind is wired to seek closure. The need for explanation, the desire for understanding. It's all part of human psychology. But here's what most people don't realize. Closure is not something you get from others. It's something you give to yourself. Waiting for someone to admit they were wrong, that gives them power. Hoping they apologize, that keeps you attached. Thinking about what you could have said differently, that only drains your energy. The moment you stop looking for closure is the moment you set yourself free. You don't need their regret to move on. One of the biggest mistakes people make is thinking they need to see the other person suffer to heal. They believe that if the person who disrespected them regrets their actions, it will make them feel better. But the truth is, their regret is not your responsibility. Their karma is not your concern. Their realization of their mistake has nothing to do with your healing. You don't need an apology to move forward. You don't need them to miss you. You don't need them to understand what they lost. You only need to understand that you deserve better. And that understanding alone is enough. The power of indifference, if you want to truly move on, there is one mindset shift that will change everything. Indifference is stronger than hate. Hating someone takes energy. Resenting them takes focus. Even anger keeps you connected. But indifference, that's real freedom. The moment their words no longer affect you, the moment their actions don't stir an emotional response, the moment you stop caring what they think, that is when you win. People expect you to be bitter. They expect you to hold on to anger. But when you show them that you are unaffected, that their actions have no hold over you, that's when they truly lose power. Detachment is the ultimate freedom. Detachment is not about not caring. It's about caring so much for yourself that you refuse to let anything disturb your peace. Here's how you master detachment. Shift your focus from them to yourself. Stop replaying conversations in your head. Stop wondering what they are thinking. Redirect that energy into becoming the best version of yourself. Accept that you may never get the apology you deserve. And that's okay. You don't need their words to validate your feelings. You already know the truth. Understand that people's actions reflect them, not you. Disrespectful people are not a reflection of your worth. They are a reflection of their own inner struggles. Replace emotion with logic. Ask yourself, does thinking about them add value to my life? If the answer is no, let them go. Move in silence. True healing doesn't come from proving anything to anyone. It comes from silently evolving into someone who no longer needs validation. Success is the best response. The most powerful thing you can do after being disrespected is not argue, not seek revenge, not wait for an apology. It's to elevate yourself. When you focus on your goals, your peace, and your self-growth, you automatically separate yourself from those who tried to pull you down. Imagine this. While they are still talking about you, still thinking about you, still wondering why you haven't reacted, you're already 10 steps ahead. You're winning in silence. And that's the most satisfying victory of all. Walking away is not losing, it's winning. Weak people stay in situations that break them. Strong people walk away when they realize their value. Walking away doesn't mean you lost. It means you refuse to engage in anything that lowers your worth. It means you choose peace over chaos, self-respect over drama, and growth over stagnation. And when you do that, when you walk away without looking back, when you let go without needing anything in return, that's when you truly become untouchable. The strength in silence and the power of inner peace. Most people think strength is loud. They believe power comes from proving a point, fighting back, or making sure others know they won. But the strongest people in the world understand something different. Real power is quiet. Real power is walking away without explanation. Real power is knowing you have nothing to prove. Think about the people who have truly mastered themselves. They don't react to negativity. They don't engage in pointless battles. They don't waste time trying to change opinions because they understand one thing: what others think of them is none of their business. If someone disrespects you, let them. If they underestimate you, let them. If they spread lies about you, let them. Your job is not to correct them. Your job is to keep moving forward. Because the moment you stop to argue, to explain, to defend yourself, you've already given them your energy. And that is exactly what they wanted. The more you react, the more they control you. People who disrespect you are looking for one thing: a reaction. They want to know they got under your skin. They want to see you lose control. Because when you react, you give them the satisfaction of knowing they had power over your emotions. But when you stay silent, when you remain unbothered, you take away their control. They don't know if you're hurt. They don't know if you're angry. They don't know if you even care. And that, more than anything, frustrates them. Your peace is more valuable than their opinion. Think about this. Has arguing with someone ever truly changed their mind? Has proving your point ever brought you lasting peace? Most of the time, the answer is no. Because people don't listen to understand, they listen to respond. They are not looking for truth. They are looking to win. So instead of engaging in a battle that leads nowhere, protect your peace. Walk away, not because you are weak, but because you refuse to lower yourself to their level. Choose silence, not because you have nothing to say, but because you understand that not every opinion deserves your attention. When you master this, you become untouchable. How to train your mind to stay silent. Staying quiet after disrespect is not easy. It takes discipline, it takes self-control, but most importantly, it takes a mindset shift. Here's how you train yourself to stay silent and maintain your inner power. Realize that words are just noise. Most people speak without thinking. They react from their own insecurities. Their words are not about you, they are about them. Ask yourself, does this affect my future? If their words won't matter in a year, a month, or even a week, why waste your energy? Learn to love your own validation You don't need to prove your worth to anyone. The moment you realize that, you become immune to outside opinions. Understand that silence is not submission. Staying quiet is not weakness, it's wisdom. It's knowing that your energy is too valuable to be wasted on meaningless conversations. Let your actions speak louder. The best response to disrespect is success. Elevate yourself so high that their words no longer reach you. The art of ignoring without losing self-respect. Some people fear that staying silent means accepting mistreatment, but there is a difference between ignoring negativity and allowing disrespect. Silence does not mean you tolerate disrespect. It means you refuse to be affected by it. You can set boundaries without explaining yourself. You can cut toxic people off without announcing it. You can protect your peace without seeking approval. People who are used to your reactions will be shocked when they no longer have access to your emotions. They will try harder to provoke you. They will push even more, but the moment they see that you have truly detached, that you no longer care, that their words hold no power over you, that is the moment they realize they have lost. The reward of silence, silence brings something that no argument, no explanation, and no revenge can ever bring. Peace. When you stop chasing validation, when you stop explaining yourself, when you stop letting other people's words dictate your emotions, you unlock a freedom that most people will never experience. And that freedom, that is what makes you truly powerful. Mastering emotional control, the key to true strength. Most people believe strength is about standing up and fighting back. They think that responding with force, proving a point, or making their voice heard is a sign of power. But in reality, the most powerful people in the world are the ones who control their emotions, not the ones controlled by their emotions. Think about it. The person who stays calm when others lose their temper, that's strength. The person who refuses to react to disrespect, that's power. The person who walks away when they could engage in conflict, that's a level of self-control most people never reach. Because the truth is, your emotions are your biggest weakness if you don't control them. The moment someone can make you react, the moment they can make you feel anger, frustration, or hurt, they win. But when you master emotional control, when you choose peace over reaction, when you refuse to let anyone dictate your mood, that's when you become truly unstoppable. Why people want to see you react? Have you ever noticed how some people push your buttons just to see how you respond? They insult you, they test your patience, they spread rumors, all because they want to control your emotions. Because the moment you react, they know they have power over you. If you get angry, they know they can trigger you. If you argue, they know they've pulled you into their chaos. If you try to explain yourself, they know they've made you doubt yourself. But when you refuse to react, when you stay calm, unbothered, and emotionally stable, they lose their power. They don't get the satisfaction of seeing you upset. They don't get to manipulate your emotions. And that is what true strength looks like. The power of emotional detachment doesn't mean you don't care. It means you refuse to let anything outside of you control what's inside of you. This is how you become immune to negativity. This is how you protect your peace. This is how you rise above petty conflicts and meaningless drama. The key to emotional detachment is shifting your focus from reaction to self-awareness. When someone disrespects you, instead of immediately reacting, ask yourself, is this worth my energy? Does responding change anything? Will I even care about this in a year? Most of the time, the answer is no, because most of the things people say or do to upset you come from their own insecurities, their own frustrations, and their own personal battles. So why let their problems become your problems? Why let their negativity steal your peace? Mastering the pause before you react. One of the greatest skills you can develop is the ability to pause before you react. Think about it. Most people react instantly. Someone insults them, they fire back. Someone offends them, they get angry. Someone pushes their limits, they explode. But people who are truly in control, they pause, they breathe, they decide how they want to respond. Because in that pause, you regain your power. In that pause, you separate yourself from the situation. In that pause, you stop yourself from making a mistake that you'll regret later. Here's how you train yourself to pause. Take a deep breath before responding. Give yourself a moment to process what just happened. Ask yourself, Does this deserve my energy? Most of the time, the answer will be no. Remind yourself that your peace is more valuable than proving a point. Walk away if necessary. Silence is always more powerful than words spoken in anger. The moment you master the pause, you will notice a shift. People will stop trying to provoke you. They will realize that they can no longer control your emotions, and that alone is a victory. Stop explaining yourself. Let your actions speak. One of the biggest mistakes people make is thinking they need to explain themselves to everyone. They believe they need to prove they are right, justify their choices, or convince others to see things their way. But the truth is, explanations are for those who don't believe in themselves. Confident people don't waste time defending their actions. They don't argue with people who don't matter. They don't try to convince others of their worth. They let their actions speak. Instead of arguing with someone who doubts you, prove them wrong with your success. Instead of explaining why you walked away, let your peace show why it was necessary. Instead of trying to win a pointless debate, win in life. Because the moment you stop explaining yourself, the moment you stop seeking approval, the moment you stop caring what others think, you become untouchable. Your energy is your most valuable asset. Every time you react, every time you argue, every time you let someone get under your skin, you are giving away your energy. Think of your energy like money. Would you give your money to people who don't deserve it? Would you waste it on things that don't bring you value? Of course not. So why do the same with your energy? Why waste it on people who bring you nothing but negativity? Start treating your energy like something sacred. Protect it. Guard it. Use it wisely, because the moment you start valuing your peace, the moment you start choosing silence over drama, the moment you start focusing only on what truly matters, you will experience a level of freedom that most people will never know. The silent victory, winning without saying a word. Silence is not weakness. It is not surrender. It is not avoidance. Silence is strategy. Silence is power. Silence is the ultimate response to those who seek to bring you down. In a world where everyone is quick to argue, desperate to prove a point, and eager to be heard, silence is misunderstood. But those who have mastered it know the truth. Silence speaks louder than words. It leaves people wondering. It makes them uncomfortable. It forces them to face their own actions without your validation or correction. Because the reality is this: you don't need to explain yourself to those who are committed to misunderstanding you. You don't need to fight battles that lead nowhere. You don't need to waste your energy trying to correct those who thrive on negativity. You need to focus on yourself. You need to build yourself so strong that their words no longer reach you. And when you do that, you win without ever having to fight. Why walking away is the smartest move. Most people think silence means letting someone get away with disrespect. They think walking away means letting them win. But let's look at the truth. When you engage in a battle of words, when you try to defend yourself, when you argue and explain, you are feeding into their game. You are giving them exactly what they want: your time, your energy, and your attention. But when you walk away, when you refuse to engage, when you stay silent and move forward with your life, you starve them of what they seek. You take away their ability to affect you, because not every battle is worth fighting. Some people don't deserve your words. Some situations don't deserve your energy. And the moment you realize that, you gain a level of wisdom that most people never reach. The strongest people are not the ones who always fight back. The strongest people are the ones who know when a battle is beneath them. The weight of words, why some people talk too much. Have you ever noticed that the loudest people are often the weakest? The ones who constantly explain, constantly defend, constantly argue. They do it because deep down they are insecure. They fear being misunderstood. They fear looking weak. They fear losing control. But those who are truly confident, they don't feel the need to explain. They don't feel the need to react. They don't feel the need to prove anything, because they understand a simple truth. Real power is quiet. Think about the most successful people in the world, the most respected leaders, the strongest individuals. They don't waste time arguing with critics. They don't explain their every move. They act. They grow, they rise, and that is what you must do. Turning disrespect into motivation silence is not just about ignoring negativity. It is about transforming it. It is about using the disrespect, the doubt, the insults as fuel to elevate yourself, because at the end of the day, the best revenge is not proving someone wrong with words. The best revenge is proving them wrong with success. Let them think you are weak. Let them believe they got the last word. Let them assume they affected you. And then silently, quietly, without saying a single thing, work on yourself. Improve, grow, build, elevate. Because when you come back stronger, when you achieve things they never expected, when you rise so high that their words become meaningless, that is the moment you truly win. And the best part, you did it without ever needing to say a word. The self-respect that comes with silence. When you stop reacting, something powerful happens. You start gaining self-respect. You stop feeling the need to prove yourself. You stop letting others dictate your emotions. You stop wasting energy on things that don't serve you. And when you develop that level of self-respect, people start treating you differently. They see that you are not easily manipulated. They see that you cannot be controlled. They see that your silence is not weakness, it is confidence. Because when you respect yourself, others have no choice but to respect you too. And those who don't, they are no longer your concern. What happens when you no longer react? When you master the art of silence, something amazing happens. People who used to provoke you lose interest. They realize they have no control over you, so they move on. You start focusing on what truly matters. Instead of wasting energy on meaningless arguments, you put it into your growth, your success, your peace. You experience a new level of freedom. When you stop letting outside voices affect your inner world, you gain a peace that most people never find. And that peace, that is where real strength comes from. So, from this moment forward, make a choice. A choice to stop engaging in battles that don't serve you. A choice to rise above pettiness. A choice to protect your peace at all costs. Because in a world that is desperate for attention, desperate for reactions, desperate for validation, choosing silence is the most powerful move you can make. The power of emotional control. Mastering yourself before others can control you. Most people don't realize it, but the moment you react emotionally, you lose control. You give the other person power over you. They push a button and you respond exactly the way they wanted. They know they got to you, they see that they affected you, and that is exactly what they wanted. But what happens when you don't react? What happens when their words don't shake you? What happens when their disrespect meets a wall of silence instead of an explosion? They lose control over you. This is where true power lies, not in reacting, not in arguing, not in proving a point, but in maintaining absolute emotional control. When you refuse to let someone else dictate your mood, you become untouchable. You become someone they can't manipulate. You become a person who dictates the energy in the room instead of being controlled by it. Most people struggle with this because they are conditioned to respond immediately. They feel the need to defend themselves. They think if they don't react, they are being weak. But that's an illusion. Emotional control is not weakness. It is the highest form of strength. Why people try to get a reaction from you? Have you ever wondered why certain people seem to go out of their way to provoke you? Why they say things that are designed to upset you? Why they test your patience over and over again? It's because they thrive on reaction. They want your energy. They want your focus. They want to feel important, even if it's through negative attention. People who lack inner peace seek to disrupt others. They look for a way to control emotions because they have no control over their own. And the more you react, the more power you give them. Think about this. If someone insults you and you get angry, they win. If someone doubts you and you become defensive, they win. If someone disrespects you and you lower yourself to their level, they win. But if you stay calm, what if you don't respond? If you look at them unaffected as if their words meant nothing, that is when they lose, because nothing frustrates a manipulative person more than realizing they have no power over you. How to train yourself to stay silent in the face of disrespect? Emotional control is a skill, and like any skill, it must be trained. one disrespects you, your first instinct will be to react. That's natural. But training yourself to pause before speaking is one of the most powerful habits you can develop. In that pause, you regain control. You remind yourself that you don't have to play their game. You remind yourself that you hold the power, not them. 2, observe instead of absorb. Most people absorb negativity. They take disrespect personally. They let it sink into their emotions. But the strongest individuals, they observe it instead. They see it for what it is, a reflection of the other person, not themselves. When someone is disrespectful, it says more about them than it does about you. A secure, confident person does not go around tearing others down. Only the weak do that. So instead of absorbing their negativity, observe it. See their weakness. See their insecurity. And remind yourself that their words have no real power unless you give it to them. 3, use silence as a weapon. Silence is one of the most powerful responses you can give because silence makes people uncomfortable. Silence forces them to sit with their own words. Silence makes them question themselves. And most importantly, silence keeps you in control. When someone disrespects you, look at them. Hold eye contact. Say nothing. Let the silence do the talking. That silence says, you don't affect me. That silence says, you are not worth my energy. That silence says, I am stronger than this. And when they realize they can't shake you, they will either walk away or reveal their true weakness. Either way, you win. The difference between silence and suppression. Now, let's be clear. Staying silent does not mean suppressing your emotions. It does not mean bottling up your anger or pretending something didn't happen. What it means is choosing your battles wisely. It means understanding that not everything deserves your energy. It is okay to acknowledge your emotions. It is okay to feel disrespected, but you do not need to respond immediately. You do not need to let your emotions dictate your actions. Instead, you use that emotion as fuel. You channel it into something productive. You take that energy and invest it into your goals, your success, your growth, because that is how strong people operate. They don't waste energy on things that don't serve them. They don't fight battles that don't matter. They stay focused on what truly elevates them. Why staying silent after disrespect leads to true power. The world teaches people that power comes from domination, speaking louder, proving others wrong, forcing people to respect you. But real power comes from self-control. Real power comes from not needing approval. Real power comes from knowing your worth without having to prove it. When you stay silent after disrespect, you maintain control over your emotions. You force the other person to sit with their own behavior. You show strength through discipline, not through reaction. You protect your energy from negativity that does not serve you. And most importantly, you keep your focus where it belongs, on yourself. Because at the end of the day, the people who disrespect you, they do not deserve your time. They do not deserve your words. They do not deserve access to your emotions. The best response is no response. The best revenge is success. The best way to win is to move forward so powerfully that their words become meaningless. So the next time someone tries to provoke you, remember this: silence is not weakness. Silence is strategy. Silence is strength. And the one who controls their emotions controls everything. The strength of walking away, mastering detachment from disrespect. There is a moment in life when you must decide what deserves your energy and what doesn't. When you finally understand that your peace is more valuable than proving a point, that moment is when you take back control. That moment is when you win. Most people think staying silent after disrespect is hard. But what's even harder, walking away without looking back. Because silence is one thing, but removing yourself from toxic people, negative environments, and situations that do not respect you, that is where real power is found. The truth is, the strongest individuals do not stay where they are not valued. They do not waste time trying to fix people who refuse to change. They do not argue with those who are committed to misunderstanding them. They simply walk away. And when you walk away, you send the loudest message of all: I am not available for this energy. Why walking away is the ultimate strength. Most people stay in toxic situations because they fear losing. They think if they leave, they're giving up. That if they don't fight back, they've lost the battle. But ask yourself, what is the real loss? Staying where you're disrespected? Wasting energy on people who drain you? Lowering yourself just to prove a point? That's not winning. That's self-destruction. Winning is knowing your worth. Winning is knowing when something is beneath you. Winning is realizing that you don't have to stay anywhere that doesn't value you. Walking away is not weakness. It's proof that you respect yourself enough to leave situations that don't serve you. Weak people argue. Strong people remove themselves. The psychological effect of walking away. Something powerful happens when you remove your presence from a situation. The moment you walk away, the power shifts. The person who disrespected you suddenly realizes they no longer have access to you. They can no longer affect you. They can no longer manipulate your emotions. And that's when they start to panic because they expected you to stay. They expected you to fight for their validation. They expected you to chase, to explain, to prove something. But instead you left, and now they have to sit with their own actions. See, most people who disrespect you do it because they expect a reaction. They want to feel powerful. They want to feel in control. But when you walk away, they are left with nothing. Your absence speaks louder than any argument ever could. Your silence forces them to reflect. And in many cases, they come back not because they respect you, but because they realize they lost control over you. But by then, it's too late. Because the moment you walk away for real, you don't go back. The discipline to leave without seeking closure, one of the hardest things to accept in life, is that not everyone will give you closure. Some people will hurt you and never apologize. Some people will betray you and never explain why. Some people will disrespect you and act like nothing happened. But here's the truth. You don't need closure from them. You need closure from yourself. Waiting for an apology keeps you stuck. Waiting for someone to change keeps you stuck. Waiting for a moment that may never come keeps you stuck. Real closure happens when you decide to move on, even without an apology. When you say, I will not let this situation take another ounce of my energy. When you understand that you don't need anyone else to give you peace, you create it for yourself. That is discipline. That is strength. That is the true power of detachment. How to build the mental strength to walk away. Walking away is a skill. It takes practice. It takes mental toughness. But once you master it, you will never tolerate less than you deserve again. 1, train your mind to recognize what is beneath you. Not every battle is worth fighting. Not every person is worth arguing with. Not every situation deserves your time. Strong people recognize what is beneath them. They don't get caught up in proving their worth. They already know it. When you see a situation that is full of disrespect, toxicity, or negativity, remind yourself, this is beneath me. I do not engage with things that do not serve me too. Understand that leaving is a form of self-respect. You teach people how to treat you by what you allow. If you stay where you are disrespected, you send a message that it's okay. But the moment you walk away, you send a new message. I will not tolerate this. I value myself too much to stay in a place where I am not respected. And once you start doing this, something changes inside you. You stop needing validation from others. You stop seeking approval. You stop chasing people who don't see your worth. You become someone who moves with confidence, someone who walks away without hesitation, someone who only surrounds themselves with people who value them. And that is the ultimate power. 3, remind yourself that their opinion does not define you. Most people stay in toxic situations because they care too much about what others think. They don't want to be seen as weak. They don't want to look like they lost. But what if you stopped caring? What if you realize that other people's opinions do not define your reality? The moment you stop seeking approval, you become unstoppable. You stop justifying yourself. You stop explaining yourself. You stop worrying about what others will say. You simply move forward, focused, unbothered, and at peace, the freedom that comes after walking away. The best thing about walking away, the peace that follows. No more arguments, no more stress, no more trying to force people to see your worth. Just silence, just freedom, just focus on what truly matters. Yourself, your goals, your happiness. And the people who once disrespected you, they will watch. They will wonder why they no longer affect you. But by then, it won't even matter. Because you will be too busy moving forward, building the life you deserve, surrounded by the respect you no longer have to beg for. That is the strength of walking away. That is the power of detachment. And that is what makes you truly unstoppable. The power of walking away. Silence is powerful, but walking away is even stronger. It's one thing to stay quiet in the moment, but it takes real strength to remove yourself completely from situations that no longer serve you. Because when you walk away from disrespect, you send a message that says you refuse to lower yourself to someone else's level. Most people struggle with this. They think staying and arguing proves their worth. They think fighting back means they're strong, but in reality, the strongest people aren't the ones who stay and engage. They're the ones who know when to leave. Why people struggle to walk away. One of the biggest reasons people stay in toxic situations is the need for validation. They want to prove a point. They want the other person to admit they were wrong. But here's the hard truth. You will never get the validation you're looking for from someone who disrespects you. They won't suddenly realize they hurt you and apologize. They won't suddenly change their behavior because you argued with them. They won't give you the closure you're hoping for. Instead, they'll keep pulling you into their negativity because the moment you engage, they know they still have control over you. Walking away removes that control. It tells them, you don't have power over me anymore. And that is what makes it so powerful. The psychological shift that happens when you leave, people expect resistance. They expect a reaction. But when you remove yourself completely, it forces them to deal with the weight of their own actions. Suddenly, they don't have someone to argue with. They don't have someone to manipulate. And that silence makes them uncomfortable. Did I go too far? Why aren't they reacting? Why did they leave? And this is where the shift happens, because instead of you chasing their approval, they start questioning themselves. They might not say it out loud, they might never admit it, but deep inside, they feel it. And that's where real power lies, not in proving a point, but in being strong enough to remove yourself completely. When you walk away, you win. Think about every time you engaged with disrespect in the past. Did it ever change anything, or did it just drain you? Now think about the times you walked away. How did that make you feel? Lighter, stronger, more in control? That's because when you stop fighting battles that don't serve you, you free yourself. You reclaim your time, your energy, and your peace. This is the difference between people who stay stuck and people who move forward. The ones who stay stuck hold on to every argument, every insult, every ounce of disrespect. But the ones who move forward, they walk away. They choose peace over proving a point. They choose themselves over toxic situations. How to walk away with strength. Walking away isn't just about physically leaving. It's about mentally and emotionally detaching. It's about making a decision that you will no longer entertain anything that lowers your standards. Know your worth. When you truly understand your value, you won't tolerate disrespect. You won't need to explain yourself. You'll simply remove yourself from situations that don't align with your self-respect. Stop seeking closure. Closure doesn't come from the other person. It comes from you deciding that you deserve better and moving on. Detach from the need to be right. You don't need to win every argument. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. True confidence comes from knowing your worth without needing validation. Let silence speak for you. You don't have to announce that you're walking away. Just do it. Let your absence say everything that needs to be said. Focus on what matters. Instead of wasting energy on negativity, put your energy into growth. Work on yourself. Build your future. Surround yourself with people who respect you. When you master the art of walking away, you stop being affected by other people's opinions. You become untouchable. Because your peace is no longer dependent on how others treat you, it comes from within. The strength of choosing yourself. There is power in walking away, not because you're weak, but because you're strong enough to know what you deserve. Weak people stay in toxic situations. Weak people argue over things that don't matter. Weak people let others dictate their emotions. But strong people, they walk away. They don't beg for respect. They don't chase after people who don't value them. They don't waste energy on things beneath them. And that's why they always come out on top. Because in the end, it's not about proving a point to someone else. It's about proving to yourself that you are worth more than their disrespect. The power of self-control. When you master self-control, you master your life. Walking away from disrespect is not just about avoiding negativity. It's about proving to yourself that you are in control. Because the person who controls your emotions controls you. And if someone can easily push you into reacting, they have power over you. But what happens when you refuse to react? What happens when you train yourself to stay composed even when someone is trying to provoke you? That's when you shift from being controlled to being in control. That's when you stop being a victim of other people's words and start living on your own terms. Why people push your buttons? People disrespect you for a reason. They want to trigger you. They want to get inside your head. They want to make you question yourself. Because the moment you react emotionally, they win. This is how manipulators work. They test you. They say things to see if they can get a reaction. And if they succeed, they know exactly how to control you. They know what words will make you angry, what actions will make you break down, and what tactics will make you doubt yourself. But what happens when their words don't affect you? What happens when you remain calm, unshaken, and unmoved? They lose power. They lose control, and suddenly they're the ones feeling lost, not you. The strength in staying silent. Most people think silence is weakness. They think that if they don't defend themselves, they're letting the other person win. But silence is not weakness. Silence is power. Silence shows that you are above the situation. Silence shows that you are not emotionally invested in their negativity. Silence forces them to reflect on their own words and actions. When someone disrespects you and you don't react, they don't know what to do. They expect anger, they expect frustration, but when they get nothing, it unsettles them, it confuses them, and it leaves them with only one thing, the weight of their own actions. The psychological shift that happens when you stay in control, when you stop giving your energy to disrespectful people, something interesting happens. They start losing interest. They start realizing that they can't affect you the way they used to, and in many cases they start respecting you because they see that nothing they do can shake you. This is why self-control is one of the greatest strengths a person can have. Because when you control your reactions, you control the entire situation. No one can make you angry unless you allow them to. No one can make you feel worthless unless you believe them. No one can ruin your peace unless you give them permission. And when you truly understand this, you become untouchable. How to develop unshakable self-control. Building self-control takes time, but once you develop it, it changes everything. Here's how to start. Pause before reacting. When someone disrespects you, take a moment before responding. Breathe. Let the first wave of emotion pass. Don't let someone else dictate your reaction. Detach emotionally. Understand that their words are a reflection of them, not you. Don't take it personally. If someone is disrespecting you, it says more about their character than yours. Master your inner dialogue. What you tell yourself matters. Instead of thinking, I need to prove them wrong, think, I don't need to prove anything to anyone. Instead of saying, this is unfair, say, I control how I respond to this. Redirect your energy. Instead of wasting time engaging in negativity, focus on growth. Every time you're tempted to react, channel that energy into something productive. Work on your goals. Invest in yourself. Surround yourself with strength. The more you spend time around confident, emotionally strong people, the more you will adopt their mindset. Avoid people who thrive on drama and seek those who radiate peace. Winning without fighting, some battles are won not by fighting, but by refusing to engage. The strongest people aren't the ones who argue the loudest. They're the ones who remain calm while everyone else is losing control. When someone disrespects you and you don't react, you win. When someone tries to manipulate you and you stay indifferent, you win. When someone tries to make you doubt yourself and you remain confident, you win. Because the real victory isn't in proving a point, it's in proving to yourself that you are stronger than their negativity. True power comes from knowing that nothing outside of you can disturb your inner peace. And when you reach that level of control, you become unstoppable.